And when you get sued, you're going to lose everything you have and become bankrupt if you did not structure properly. So we want to structure you for asset protection. We have attorneys who are going to do that. We structure you for tax mitigation. That's the job of strategists, tax, all these people.
Tax mitigation. That means reduction.
Tax mitigation. Yes.
Yeah.
The tax code tells you to go and avoid paying too much taxes. That's the tax code.
It's not every day that I get to welcome into this studio, this virtual studio, someone that I have admired, that I've learned from, and someone I could proudly say we knew ourselves when we were nobodies. Many, many decades ago. I mean, many, many centuries ago. Okay, not centuries. Many decades ago, while I was at college, I met a fine brother, classmate, who was really smart. And I'd say much smarter than me in a number of areas. And this guy, I remember vividly how on some of the days we sat around the same place, we wrote the same exam, and he scored better than me. But that's beside the point. That's beside the point, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to welcome into the Story Warrior Virtual Studios, Mr. Charles Njoya, who is a CPA, but more importantly, a tax strategist. Please, if you can do a drum roll, wherever you are, please draw your chairs closer. All the story warriors, draw your chairs closer. All the story weavers, all the story makers, merchants, draw your chairs closer, because this man is going to help you save some money. Yes. Forget about the other people, social workers that come on this program and talk about some emotional issues. He's going to help you save money. Folks, draw your chairs closer, because we're about to usher into this studio Mr. Charles Njoya, all the way from the great state of Texas in the city of Houston. Mr. Njoya, welcome aboard, sir.
There is a reason you are called the story warrior. So at times I am excited to be here, but I'm more excited to be talking to you, Dr. Fabukwai. I mean, we have a story from history, and the way you put it, it was beyond me, but I'm really happy to be in your studio today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You may not know this, but I've often referred to you as a runaway success story. Like this runaway success, that means he's gone so far, you don't even have to run after him, because he has broken all the records. He has made even the Kenyans and the Ethiopians, the Somalians, who run so fast than anyone else. He has broken all the 10,000 meters in the world of finance. You don't need to stop. You don't need to stop. You need to stop trying. Just stand by the side and cheer and cheer. And the reason I say that is with all humility, that you as a professional, you've seen many shores, you've seen many places that many cannot even dream about. When you left University of Boya years and years ago, you joined a prestigious career as an accountant, as chartered accountant. Just in the interest of those who may still not even know what I'm talking about, what are some of the countries, what are some of the places that you went to in your first 2, 3, 4, 5 years after college, when most people are still trying to ask themselves, man, how am I going to pay my bills? You were already crushing it at the top. What are some of those places that you went to?
I mean, I'm going to tell you something, Dr. Famukwai. I think I am, again, you're making me, let me calm down and just get to the matter. But the key thing is, when I left University of Boya in 1996,
yes, sir.
I think that was the year.
Yes,
when we left the University of Boya, the first place was I joined PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers. And then, I mean, the reason, I think it's very important to come about, before I even joined this company, The reason I got there was because of what I did before getting there. That's
Mm,
very important.
very
It's very
interesting.
important.
Yes.
What we did, what I did, and some of these things you were part of it. So you saw exactly what we were doing at the
That's
school.
true.
Yes. Those things were the things that gave us that they gave us that pedestal to jump into some places that were far bigger than us.
Yes, sir.
When I left school, I thank you. When I left school, before I left school, I used to be very active in the university.
Yes, sir.
We created what was called the University of Boya Accounting Association. And
Yes,
that
sir.
association, we didn't just create it and sleep on it.
Yes, sir.
I was the president of the association, and we did some great stuff. We basically, in those days, we launched that association for over $1.5 million. Can you
Yes, sir.
1.5 million CFA?
Yes,
And
sir.
that in those days, you might think today, oh, 1.5 million is nothing. But that was
Yes.
a lot for a school that just started. Nobody
Yes.
knew us.
Yes.
And that was because we made it an active
Yes.
search. We made it an active duty to go into everything that had to do with accounting in
Yes.
Cameroon. Every investment, every activity. We were moving. There was a time that we were almost missing all classes because we were going and
Yes,
trying
sir.
to build this association.
Yes, sir.
We spearheaded it. We went to anything that was called the firm in Cameroon.
Yes.
They knew us.
Yes.
Anything that was called a business, they knew us. And at
Yes.
the end of the show, before we left PwC, before we left
The university.
university, we had created internship alone for close to 70 students through UBA,
Yes.
through UBAA.
And I saw some of that. I
Yes, through
saw it was
UBAA.
almost, you guys were almost like activists. Yes,
Yes,
I can take some credit for having started ISEC, but ISEC was
yes,
worldwide. I was
yes,
linking up to an international network of people who knew what was fundraising,
exactly.
travel, but you guys were starting your seed from
We
scratch.
created the
You
thing
were
from zero.
sowing it from zero.
Yes.
And I give you kudos. I
And
absolutely give
the,
you
the, the,
kudos.
the, the vice chancellor, Dorothy Njoma, at the time, she could not understand what we were doing. There was a time she called me in an office and said, "Who are you, Mr. Njoya? I hear about you all over the place. Tell me, what are you people doing? We go to fundraise for the university, and we hear that there's an association that's already fundraising in the university. What are you
Yes.
doing? You have to be organized."
Yes.
I sat in her office. She was there telling me, and then she started really. I can be proud of this.
Yes.
Mrs. Njoma used to send me to Douala with the
Yes.
school bus, with the school car and a driver to
Yes,
go
sir.
and do something.
Which I did
Why?
not get.
Because she had seen
I
what
did
we
not
were
have
doing.
any of those favors, bro. Even though
Yes,
I was founder of ISEC with Mr. Kamga Pierre, you
yes,
and Mr. Valentine T founded Yuba. I did not get that favor. I did not get to ride the school bus, at least not to Douala.
absolutely.
But I'm not stealing your thunder. There's one other
Yes,
thing that I want to give you your flowers. You deserve the flowers because people see you as a successful tax strategist today. They don't know how far you've come. Do you know that in '96, you, Mr. Enjoyer, we sat in a managerial economics, managerial accounting class,
yes.
and you struck it through. And I failed by 2 points. I had 2 points. You came one semester behind me and you graduated one semester before me. If that was not humbling, I don't know what is humbling. And the last time I think I saw you was somewhere I came to PricewaterhouseCoopers. Then to I don't know what I was negotiating. Then I saw you pop out of the office. You're looking very serious. You're like very, very serious. Boyle shook her hand, and I just moved on very quickly. But I want to give you a flowers because people need to know the backstory. And the Story Warrior channel is all about telling the backstory. Before you became this famous, before you became very successful, it is the humble beginnings that have made you who you are, sir. So take us back to Boya. As you were founding that association, what was at the top of your mind? How many years ahead were you thinking? What was at the top
Let
of
me
your mind
tell you
and the mind of the other guys?
I will
Because
answer
this
your
was
first
there was no
question,
there was
and
no
answer
blueprint for that.
I don't want to go past your first question. Your first question was how many countries I had gone through.
Yes.
Through PwC. Through PwC, I traveled the whole of Africa. Yes. If there's any place in Africa I wasn't there, PwC gave me a wonderful foundation. And we'll talk about that. I guess we can get into
Yes.
that.
Oh yeah.
But
We'll
I
get into that.
traveled. I used to go and work in France for 6 months, for 3 months, for 2 months. I used to work everywhere. I went to the UK. I was in the UK for almost 3 years. I spent time all over the world, all
Yes.
over the main. I didn't go to Asia, but most of those countries that you think, America, I used to come here and spend time just because. So because we created those internships in the university,
Mhm,
what did it
mhm.
do? It opened all our doors.
Yes.
And I had the chance, the privilege. These guys, they selected me basically because they had already known me.
Yes.
They had already known me through the time. So they thought, okay, this guy looks very dynamic. And I joined the firm. When I
Yes.
joined the firm, it was all about, so you this question about what was I thinking? When
Mhm.
we created UBAA, we were already thinking far ahead, far ahead.
Mhm,
Our
mhm,
mindset was we had a dream.
mhm.
And I tell every person, you have to dream.
Yes,
You
sir.
have to dream. Even at that young age when we were there,
Mhm.
our dreams were, I used to look at that school when we created the UBAA. In the first 3 months of it, we had our mindset. I thought to myself that I may not be the person who can lead this organization.
Mm.
There was a guy called Mr. Ndoping Michael.
I thought as
Ndop-
much. I
yes,
thought as much with Isaac, and
yes,
then I said, "Okay, I gave it to my
yes,
friend, Mr. Kamgap here." And
yes,
with all due respect, but people were asking me, "You're kind of like the guy that brought this thing. Why are you not
yes,
standing?" I said, "No, no, not me." But
yes.
I'm happy. I'm happy until today because he was a good leader. He was an amazing leader.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
what happened was that we were looking at Mr. Ndoping. Ndoping today
Yes.
has made a great career in Africa.
Yes.
We were looking at Mr. Ndoping because he was a senior person. He was this.
Yes.
Our dreams were all, we were looking at Mr. Ndoping and we wanted him to be
He was
elected as the president.
established. He
Guess
was a
what?
big name.
Yes, to
Yes.
establish what we were thinking. Guess
Yes.
what? We went into a meeting for elections. We had a lower class that was just behind us. And
Yes.
then they came with all their strategies and then they elected someone who had, I thought, didn't have exactly the vision that we had.
Yes.
So Ndopi was not the president. For the first few months, we had somebody who was the president, whom we just thought, what did these guys just do? Because we didn't
Mm.
have those strategies to go behind and start playing
Yes.
our games to get this guy
Yes.
elected. We just
Yes.
thought we'll just come into the hall and win the election. We didn't win it. So this
Yes.
guy takes the election, and then his viewpoint, in as much as he was a great guy, he didn't get really the vision that we had.
Yes, yes, because he
So
was
what
already
happens
an
was that,
established guy, but you were
yes,
up and
he
coming.
was
You were
running it
trying to
as a
build
normal
something for the future.
traditional organization, and we said
Yes.
no. So we just came in, and so many people said I had seized the organization, I'd done this and done that. We came in and just started working. And then what happened is that the next election, we just took the election. And I don't want to stand here because he was a great guy. This is a
Mhm,
great friend of mine. But
mhm.
we just didn't think that was
The
the
direction.
mindset we had. At
Okay.
the end of the day, what did we do? We were able, because we took that organization and we started doing what we thought we would do. We wanted to reach out to everything that was called an organization, and even
Yes.
international organization, and we did that. We
Yes.
did it. We launched the organization. We did what we were going to do, and people had. We were the first batch of accounting English speaking students in Cameroon. And
Yes.
what did we do? We were able to place ourselves in some strategic places in Cameroon
Places
thanks
that
to
have
this organization.
changed the course
And
of.
today,
Mhm.
whatever some of us have become is because of that UBAA that we
Thank you.
created. Yes,
Thank you so much.
Yuba opened my road, and I worked with I would never have dreamt of working with PwC. But I was with PwC for 17 years. I was a partner for PwC. I was a
Yes.
known equity partner for PwC, director for PwC,
Yeah.
because I started through through
You.
something. And
Yes.
then I found myself, I was the first black, no, known US trained,
Mhm.
American trained, or any non English trained
Mhm.
person to work within PwC in Africa. In
No
Africa.
kidding. No
And so
kidding.
when PwC came, because we started when there was Coopers, there was Libran.
Yes.
So when they came and merged together,
Yes.
for some reason, they identified me as the guy that they wanted to send abroad to
Mhm.
go and train to become the oil and gas person in the region.
Person. There you go.
That's how I found myself within 2 years of being in PwC. I found myself in Aberdeen, in Scotland, in the UK. And I
And
was in
with
the UK for 2.5 years, came back, and I was all across Africa, all over the place, United States, all over the place,
yes.
because of And all this was down to a seed that we had sown.
So
And
thank you.
today, whatever I do, it is reference to PwC, because with the PwC, what did PwC do that was different? PwC is one of the big four. For those who don't know, it's one of the big four largest accounting, tax, consulting firms in the world. There's
Without a doubt.
PwC, there's KPMG, there's Deloitte and Touche, and there is Deloitte, and then there is there is Ernst and Young. Those
Yeah.
are the four big largest. And what do? They help the wealthy, the top 1%, the most affluent people in the world.
To say
What
the
do? They help the largest companies in the world to make money. And
Thank you.
today, that was the basis. That has been the basis of what I'm doing today.
Thank you. And that's the precursor to where we're
Yes.
going, because some people know you as a CPA. Yes, I know you've been a CPA for long, but I also know you as a tax strategist. And there are people of all backgrounds that are watching this program from across America and, yes, other parts of the world. Some can't quite tell the difference between a CPA and a tax strategist. I want you to lay it out, because on the Story Warrior channel, we make it simple for everyone. A business owner, a mother, a father, an older gentleman who is about to retire, who's gotten quite a bit of wealth and is doubting, what am I going to do? How am I going to structure it in such a way that I don't give it all to Uncle Sam? So tell us, what's the difference between a CPA and a tax strategist?
Okay, that's a great question. A CPA, the traditional CPA, and let me tell you something, CPAs are very diverse. But we're talking here about the traditional CPA who goes out there and is just preparing taxes.
Yes.
He has his tax firm and they are preparing taxes. 90% of high income people use CPA. 99% of them use CPAs for their tax preparation.
Yes.
And a CPA, what he does for you, he is the guy who knows how to he knows how to prepare taxes. He prepares taxes for you in order to help you pay taxes.
Yes.
The
Pay to Uncle
CPA
Sam.
will help you pay taxes. He's
Yes.
trained as a tax accountant.
Yes.
He is a tax accountant. He
Yes.
basically helps you pay taxes.
Yes.
Help you prepare your tax returns,
Yes.
and then pay your taxes on time. That
Yes.
is what a CPA does.
Thank
Now,
you.
a strategist is a completely different ball game. The strategist is a guy who's helping you make money. And to make money, to help you make money, your wealth is in the taxes you pay. Your
Okay.
wealth is in the taxes you pay. So the strategist role is completely different. He's going to help you save that money that you're giving to Uncle Sam.
Yes.
Now, think about this. Most people think that the tax code is there to make them pay taxes. I'm going to bust your bubble and I'm going to tell you something. The tax code is a machine that is there to incentivize you to do those things that will make you wealthy.
Oh, wait a minute. Say that again. I need to give one of the Vuvuzela blast here, because it lets people
tax
know this
code.
is very important. Pay attention, story warriors, story merchants, story weavers. The tax code is?
The tax code is a machine. It is basically an incentive program that helps you build wealth for yourself.
That's a complete reversal of what I've always thought about. Please go ahead.
Let me tell you another thing.
A lot of people are sitting on the edges of their seats and listening.
Yes. Let me tell you another thing. The United States is a capitalist country. Every day we hear that the wealthy don't pay taxes. Oh, Donald Trump doesn't pay. Elon Musk doesn't pay. Warren Buffett doesn't pay. Thomas Kiyosaki doesn't pay. Grant Cardone. All these guys, they are on the news every day telling you that I don't give a dime to Uncle Sam. And the question we talk about in our communities is, oh, these guys are not paying taxes. They should pay their fair share. What is wrong? Oh, this. This country is, there is only one tax code. One. There are no two tax codes. There's no tax code for the wealthy and tax code for any other person. There's just one tax code in America. And when we come to America, we come here with a dream.
Yes, sir.
We come here with a dream. And that dream is to come and win for our own community, build wealth for ourselves, and create a legacy for ourselves. So when we come to a country that is it is a completely different country from what we came from, the first thing we should be thinking about is, how does this country work? How does it work? We come here, and instead of trying to understand how the system works, we want the system to be the way we are. Income is not wealth. Income is not wealth. We come to this country, we go to the best schools. If you go to the best schools in America, you throw a stone, it will fall on a Nigerian. You throw a stone, it will fall on a Cameroonian. You throw a stone, it will fall on a Kenyan. You throw a stone, it will fall on an Indian. You throw a stone, it will fall on immigrants. Are everywhere in this country. They do the best in this country. However, they go to the best schools. They come here with a dream. They work harder than anybody. But you know what? The only one thing they don't know is how the system works. Income pays a lot in taxes.
And
the
by
tax
system,
rate,
you
the
mean
tax
tax
code
code.
tells you that. The tax code tells you that the higher you earn, the more taxes you will pay. The higher the income, the more taxes you will pay. It's called ordinary income. It pays a lot in taxes. The tax rate today, as we're speaking in 2024, the tax bracket for the high income earners, people who have done all these things, who come now and they're earning all these sums of money, is 37%. That's the tax bracket for the high income earners. 37% is their marginal tax rate. Now, that 37% means if you made $1 million. Now, let me tell you, let me run back. That is 37% for federal. There is also another percentage, depending on the state where you live in, you have to pay state taxes. So if you are in California, the state tax is 13.3% for high income earners. So you're paying, if you add those two, is 50.3% that you're paying in taxes. So if you made $1 million in California, you're going to take home $490,000. If you made $1 million in Texas, you're going to take home, you're going to pay about $370 around there in taxes, $370,000 in taxes, because we don't have a state tax. The thing is that income will pay a lot of taxes. However, there's something called assets. Wealth is not in income. Wealth is in the assets you have. Another name for net worth is net assets.
Okay.
And in America, you build assets by leveraging other people's money. You don't in Cameroon. If you own a home or a house, you paid it out of pocket. You must have worked very hard. Our parents saved all sorts of money to pay this. In America, you acquire assets just by signing papers. You give a small down payment and other people's money. The middle class are there to fund your assets. And those assets, assets don't pay taxes. You transfer the taxes in assets to the middle class. So that's why when they call you middle class and you think you're happy, it's actually an insult to be a middle class person.
So if I understand you well, the CPA helps you pay your taxes, but the tax strategist helps you to preserve your wealth.
So avoid taxes and build wealth. Structure your estate. When you come to our company, we do 3 things for you. We're going to help you structure your estate by 1. When you make money in America, America is called capitalist for a reason. It means that everybody is a shark. Everybody is a shark. If you make money, everybody wants to sue you. And when you get sued, you're going to lose everything you have and become bankrupt if you did not structure properly. So we want to structure you for asset protection. We have attorneys who are going to do that. We structure you for tax mitigation. That's the job of strategists, all these people.
Tax mitigation. That means reduction.
Tax mitigation. Yes.
Yeah.
The tax code tells you to go and avoid paying too much taxes. That's the tax code. The tax code doesn't tell you that you must pay taxes. It tells you that you must file taxes.
Yeah.
Filing taxes doesn't mean pay taxes. Now you have to, goes further. The tax code would incentivize you to use the capital that is in this country. America is the capital of capital. That's why it's called a capitalist nation.
Yes.
You use that capital that is given to you by the system. It's called other people's money. This is the money of the middle class. If you want to play the game, you're playing the game with the money of this middle class. You take the middle class money, invest it in assets, and then now you can take those assets that you bought with other people's money and wipe off your ordinary income taxes with it.
Okay, now this is getting very interesting here. So, in other words, most of the immigrants coming, they become eaten up by the sharks.
Yes.
And they spend all their years begging the sharks, please, sharks, eat me up. Sharks, eat me up. Get a chew me up and give a piece of it to Uncle Sam. Instead of taking a position and saying, okay, we came in, we have advanced degrees, we should also understand how the tax system works and incentivizes us to become as informed as anyone else. So what are some of the mistakes that you're seeing immigrants make when they come into America? They get excited, they buy big cars, they buy big homes, and they get carried away by the system. What are some of the mistakes that they make with respect to wealth preservation as far as America is concerned with immigrants?
America, let me tell you one of the things that we have in our community. We come here and we believe we know everything. That's one of the problems we have. The mindset needs to be changed completely. Completely. It's like we come here, we are like that person, historically, people like you and I, who were strong like you and I. These people used to come to our locations and gather us by force to come and work in this country to build this economy. They used to pick, it was called slavery, slave trade, whatever, however you call it. The system was called slavery. We were trading people. It's called slave trade. We come here and then we work and build this economy. That's how we built America. Now, when slavery ended, do you think that they stopped building America because slavery ended? No. They found another way of making us do the same thing, but wearing a white collar and a tie.
Oh, that's painful. I can feel the pain here now.
They found another way to make us do the same thing. So we're coming here, we come here, and then the system tells you that this is the tax code. This is the tax code. The tax code is very complex. I concede that. It's very complex. So the way they made us to come and do the same thing is that we come here and then they make America very interesting, very nice, so that we are now dreaming only of coming to America. If you ask anybody, I want to go to America because of the dream. America, this capitalist, I want to go there. We come to this America. The next thing we want to do, we go to the best schools, and then we come out as the great. But the system doesn't teach us how this system works. Why? Because just 1%. Those capitalists, the capitalists are looking for labor. They're looking for people to come and work, help them build their own economy. America is not like Russia. America is not like Kenya, where we have all these countries anyway are already turning into capitalism anyway. Because capitalism works. And just like I said, America, capitalism means that the government owns nothing. The government doesn't own anything in America. If you go to any communist country, or even in some countries where we come from, you would see the National Oil Company in Nigeria. You have NNPC in Cameroon. You have the what do you call it?
National
hydrocarbons. All those
national refinery.
You go to China. You have the Sinopec. You have all these things that are national companies. America doesn't have a national oil company. America doesn't have an infrastructure company that builds roads or does this. America has nothing. Nothing. The economy doesn't own the roads. All the skyscrapers you see in Dallas or down Houston or in New York, in California, all those things belong to private equity. The roads, everything. When they talk about the infrastructure bill, do you think they are creating money to give people? They are giving people incentives to do those things. That is what it is. And America doesn't own commercial building, residential building, low-income housing. They don't have it. But do you think they need them? Of course they need them. That's how the economy grows. So when Harris or Trump goes to power today, what are they looking for? The first thing they're looking for is a tax code. So they look for the tax code because they are going to build their agenda with the tax code.
That's
So they take
interesting.
that tax code, and that tax code means that they are going to incentivize you that these things we cannot do. We cannot hire people. We cannot do all of these things. But if you do these things that we cannot do, you're going to be incentivized by not paying taxes.
Going to give you a good chunk of the money. Yes.
Absolutely. If you do these things, we are going to incentivize you because we cannot do them. We look at labor statistics every month. The government is looking at labor statistics every month. How many people does the government hire? How many people? Not up to 1-2% of the population goes to the military or the government, the federal settings. So how do they make these things work? By incentivizing you through the tax code. They tell you that if you have affordable housing, you build real estate, you get all of these things. First of all, those things are called wealth. Even from where we come from, when somebody has 3 houses, that man get money. He's a rich man. And
so,
the way wealth is built in America is that the government becomes wealthier when you are building your own economies individually. It's a combination of those individual economies that makes the larger economy of the United States. So one thing that happens is that the person who is not, when you are building, so they're telling you and they give you the access. A few weeks ago, just about a week ago, the Fed had to reduce interest rates by another 5 points. Why? Because they want to incentivize us more to build the economy. So when you start making money, when you go out of those schools, Harvard, Yale, Massachusetts, whatever you go out from, the first thing that you see, you start getting all these letters coming from banks. Oh, they are lending. You can take money. You can do this. It's not money to take and buy Louis Vuitton shoes.
I see where you're going with that. I see where you're going with that because immigrants see that and get excited. Oh my God, Chase Bank is looking for me.
You get stuck in the rat race when you start getting involved in those
take
things.
Those loans,
consumer items,
and they're stuck because that consumer item doesn't build you wealth. That's what you're saying.
It doesn't give you wealth.
Thank you.
And it doesn't build the economy. You're stuck in the rat race with too many credit cards that you use them to buy shoes, buy this, buy that. When you invest in assets, I see, and again, there are so many people who invest in assets. They have many real estate and they're still paying a lot in taxes because they are working with some CPA who doesn't understand the structure, how to structure you.
That's mistake number 2. That's mistake number 2. I'm counting.
You have to structure.
Yes. So the second one, they're investing in real estate.
Yes.
Or in assets. But the assets are in the wrong buckets. Or the assets
they are wrongly structured.
They're exposed assets. Okay, talk about that because I know a lot of people that say, oh my God, I just want to buy as many houses as possible. Yeah, that's good. But what are some of the disadvantages if that is a strategy that they're trying to use to think that they're able to avoid Uncle Sam, or they avoid taxes, or they can avoid becoming vulnerable in the system? Can that be something that they should worry about for immigrants?
Immigrants should, first of all, especially when you start making money, because wealth has 3 phases. There are 3 phases to wealth building. Number 1 is income generation. Income. If you don't have income that you generate, you cannot build wealth.
Okay.
That's number 1.
Yes.
We come here and then some people get stuck, and then first is income generation. Once you generate income, the next step is that you want to acquire assets. That's why you start buying that your nice car, you start buying that your nice house, you want to acquire assets. And that stage is a stage where you have to be careful because it can actually put you in a rat race. That stage of asset accumulation. What type of assets are you accumulating matters a lot.
Okay. What are some of the good ones and some of the bad ones?
Assets? Yes. Who is helping you structure those assets? And how do you even acquire those assets? They matter a lot.
What are some
Then
of the
the
good
third
assets
one,
and some of the bad
yes,
assets, if you don't mind to shed
absolutely.
a little bit of light? Yeah.
There are some that are that are just expenses, expenditure. You're getting yourself entangled with those assets. You have
Like
to look
buying a
for
beautiful car,
income.
like buying
You
a super expensive
absolutely.
car. Yeah,
You
okay.
can buy expensive cars, but you use it for particular things. Your aim should be income generating assets. Income generating assets. There are times where I mean, I never have a problem talking about people homes because the satisfaction they get internally from living in a nice home is you cannot. I live in a nice home, so I know about building, trying to get a nice home for yourself because it gives you
Yes.
that additional thing to be able to do the things that you have to do.
Yes,
But
sir.
you want to think very carefully about how you acquire assets. Then number three, you have to now protect those assets.
Okay.
So
First, you
we talk about
generate, you
income
acquire,
generation,
income
tax,
generation,
yes, income
asset,
generation, asset accumulation, and then
asset
asset
protection.
protection.
Okay.
This
That
country
is
is a country of what? Of tax litigations. There's so many litigations in America. Every time there's going to be a litigation, somebody is following. I mean, the statistics show that every business person, any entrepreneur, is going to be sued at least once in a lifetime, and that one lawsuit can make you
could
bankrupt.
sweep, can clear everything.
Everything you've worked
You can
for,
start
including the
backwards.
future income you're going to make.
There you go.
Everything. So
There you
you
go.
have to think about asset protection. How do I structure my estate to really take advantage of this economy?
Thank you so
There are
much.
properties. I see people come to me who have assets worth about 20, 30, 40 million dollars, and they're still paying crazy amounts in taxes because they're working with some crazy CPA who doesn't know anything about structure.
That is very interesting.
Yes.
Okay. So, because of their stupidity, they've not had time to invest in the right kind of tax strategies, or even take some time to understand the
And,
US tax code to
and then,
some extent, to some minimal extent.
yeah, but another thing
Okay.
too is that
And
we are too cheap to get to where we want to go. We are too cheap at times to get to where we want to go. We are so
that's
used to, we are not used to paying for consultation.
for
We are used to
counsel.
buying
Yes.
an asset like a house.
Yeah.
But you don't understand that a consultation is bigger in America
It can
than
save
just
you.
invest.
It can save
Yes.
you. It can save you a whole
So
lot more than.
people, when somebody comes to Charles tells him that, oh, okay, we are going to do this, and I tell him maybe your fee. I just say your fee is maybe $20,000. I'm going to save you maybe $300,000, and I tell you that my fee is maybe $30,000. You are like, what? What? Instead of calculating the $300,000 I'm going
That
to
they can
save you,
gain.
I
Yes.
am looking at what is going into your pocket, and I'm
20.
worried about that 30,000 that's going to your
That
pocket.
is myopic thinking, which
Yes,
is it's a crazy
and
thing that is very common in our community, and
that's our community.
I've suffered from it sometimes. But
Yes,
we forget that the British say penny wise, pound foolish.
yes,
Penny wise, pound foolish. So you are protecting one penny,
yes.
which is helping you in the moment, but tomorrow you could have been saving hundreds of
The
pounds, and
point
so
is that
that's
it's not about tomorrow. You pay me by, I mean, you're not paying me out of your pocket. You're paying me out of the money you will give to Uncle Sam anyway. When you pay money to Uncle Sam, it's like putting money in a toilet pot and then flushing it. It's gone. It's a waste of money. I just spoke to a client just before I met you. That client, they pay $600,000 a year in taxes. 600,000. And this guy has been paying that for many, many, many years. 600,000 is a down payment for
it's
$6 million of real estate.
he must be
6 million
considering himself a
every
good
day.
citizen. Is
Yes,
it ethically wrong, Mr. Joya, to uh to say this guy? I've always felt like I'm a good citizen when I pay my taxes.
yes.
I want you to talk about that. And yet there are billionaires that don't pay taxes. How much of a good citizen am I? Maybe when I'm depriving other people in my family and in Africa who could have benefited from an extra 20, 30, $40,000.
I hear this thing all the time. Pay their fair share. Oh, somebody will tell you that you must pay taxes. How does the country run without taxes? Oh, you cannot say that you cannot save on taxes. I say it is this stupidity that we move along with. I call it stupidity. It's stupidity. And yet you will ask those people, they will tell you, yes, I know that these guys don't pay taxes.
Yes.
So if somebody is not paying taxes, why are you moving around? Some people say, oh, this country is complicated. It's this, is this. I tell people all the time in my office that if you don't like the system, go to Russia. Go and stay in Russia. Go to where there's communism and stay there.
Yeah.
Why are you here? Many people will tell you that you are a better citizen if you pay taxes.
Yes.
America doesn't need you to pay taxes. If not, the tax code has things that they call tax credits, tax deduction. They're giving you bonus depreciation. They are giving you code section 179. They are giving you all sorts of tax benefits, opportunity zones. All these things are giving you the incentive to help build America. You say, no, I want to build another person's own economy. You are going and then you are helping another person build his economy. And then because you only pay taxes because you're not building the economy enough. That's the only reason.
And by so doing, you also undermine your own self.
Absolutely.
And by so doing, you undermine your own
Income is
children, your own family, and some of those family members are a continent away. Now, let's move on to something that some people have talked about: double taxation. And I think that in some ways, maybe it impacts new immigrants or impacts immigrants. What is the issue with double taxation, and who are the people that suffer from it most?
Mhm. Double taxation, I don't even understand this concept of double taxation. It's very rare to be double. I mean, there are places where you double tax because of the structure that you're using. Double tax. I mean, there is a double tax system in dividends when you receive dividends, in the sense that if you have a corporation that is structured as a C Corp, that C Corp is going to pay taxes in the first place as a C Corp. Currently, the tax rate of a C Corp is 21%. Great tax rate, better than personal income tax rate. So a corporation, which is not a person, is paying less taxes than you, who is a person. That's number one. Number two, they tell you that, okay, that corporation is going to pay 21%. Then now you are going to take a dividend. When you take a dividend, it's called, you are going to pay something called capital gains tax on dividends. That is what you can call double taxation, because that same money that you're receiving had already paid 21% when it was a corporation, and now you're taking it and you're paying another tax. But if you are not structured as a corporation, you're structured as as if you're not structured as a large corporation, which is called a C Corp, and you're structured as a small corporation, S Corp, or anything, you don't get to really see that double taxation. Apart from that, you're going to pay taxes on property, on things that you own, everything that you buy. There's some form of tax in there. You can triple it, you can call it double or triple taxation or whatever it is. But we're talking here about income taxes. Income taxes. And for most of us, they worry about double taxation because they have assets abroad.
Yes.
They have assets abroad.
Yes.
That they are creating income from those assets that they have abroad. So basically, if you have something, let's say you are in Nigeria and you have businesses in Nigeria that's generating income.
Yes.
Great.
Or Kenya.
The point is,
South Africa,
people will say, I don't want to. Yes, I don't want to show in Cameroon or in our village in Cameroon. Many people, they all build hotels. They have things that are generating income for them. Now, the problem is you are a U.S. resident. The tax code says you have to pay taxes. You have to file taxes on worldwide income. Worldwide income.
Worldwide.
Worldwide. The tax code says worldwide income.
Yes.
So basically, most of us say, oh, I'm not going to show that Cameroon income because it's going to pay tax here.
Yes. And what is the danger? What's the danger of that?
There's not the danger of doing that is that you are minimizing your asset portfolio. I never tell anybody to throw away any part of his income, because income gives you access to more wealth, to capital. It gives you, if you ask any entrepreneur what is the biggest trouble they have, they say access to capital is their biggest problem. If you're having problem with access to capital, and then they tell you in America is the capital of capital. It is a capital of capital, because when you have access to money, everybody wants to give you more money. It's like, look, even in your small community, the people who have access to good things are the wealthier people. Wealthy people, every broke person will come
even
to try to.
Even the Bible says that to those who have, more will be given.
Yes,
So,
more will be given. That is the reality.
yes.
So basically, why would you not want to show that you're generating income? First of all, when you pay taxes in another country,
Mhm.
you bring it in the United States, there's something that is called, there are two types of ways to of excluding that taxes. So you don't double pay taxes on that US. Number one, if you pay tax in Cameroon on that asset, you bring it in the US, you are going to have what we call earned income exclusion. Earned income exclusion from taxes. So that income, it has a threshold. That income that is coming from abroad at a certain level, you are going to exclude those income from taxes in the United States. And if the taxes that you paid abroad was higher than the taxes you pay in the United States, you also have what we call foreign tax credits. Foreign tax credits.
Mhm.
This is a dollar for dollar deduction on whatever you've paid abroad.
Mhm.
You always want to look at the bigger picture. What is the
Mhm.
bigger picture? The bigger picture is that I am showing how much income I'm generating in this country.
Mhm.
Because this country because of that income, I have access to a bigger banking system in this country than I have in Cameroon.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you can have access to capital. You go to
Absolutely.
Cameroon, how much money can you get from a bank? Nothing. You come here, the bank tells you that if you can show your income, structure it well, I will give you all sorts of money you want. Then you say, no, I don't want to show it. Some CPA somewhere is telling you, don't show it because you'll pay taxes on it. If that's not madness, what is?
Okay, hold it there, hold it there. So I know without letting out some of the strategies that you use specifically with your clients, what are some of the strategies without maybe splurging on all of them, without spending on all of them? Give us three strategies that immigrants who are beginning to make some good money, call them the nouveau riche, they don't have to give all of it back to Uncle Sam out of ignorance. Give us one or two
Number
strategies that they
one,
can use. Mhm.
number one, number two, number three. I'll give them in order.
Yeah.
The first thing I tell people is that when you're building your economy, when you have a business, the first thing you want to do is hire your children in the business.
Hire your kids in the business, and
Hire your children in the business. Let me
that's
tell you why.
legitimate. That's
This is
legitimate.
huge.
This is
The
legitimate,
tax
right?
code the tax code tells you go and type in. It tells you one of the biggest advantages you have in creating a business is because you are able to hire family members. And let me tell you why it's important. I'm going to give you something. I wrote a piece just a few days ago, and I said the power of compounding.
Mhm.
The power of compounding. The labor code says that you cannot hire any person in America under the age of 14 unless that person is your own child or you are the legal custodian of that child. It ends there. What
Mhm.
does that mean? It means that you can hire a
Free
child
play.
at any age,
Free
as
play.
long as it's your child or you are
Go
the
ahead.
legal custodian of that child.
Okay.
Okay.
Strategy number one. Okay, we got
That's
that.
that you go further. We've not finished. You
Okay.
go further. What is the benefit of me hiring that child? Number one of the problems we have as entrepreneurs is that most people say that we are not with our children, we don't spend time with our families enough. It gives you access to those children, to your family. You're training them on learning how to take your legacy forward. That's number one. That's
Yep.
a very big one.
Absolutely.
Number two is that the standard deduction in America today is about $15,000. Standard deduction means the money that if you earn, you will not pay taxes on. You will
Mhm.
not even file taxes. $14,000. So if you pay your child $14,000 around there, you pay your child $14,000 in a year,
You don't even have to
that
file.
child will not even need to file taxes.
Fair enough.
And then you too, it's a deduction. You are in the 37% tax bracket. You just remove 14,000. 14,000 times 37% is about $6,000 you just saved on taxes.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's
Kudos.
number one.
Yeah.
So if you have 4 children, that's 7,000. That's 6,000 you multiply by 4. It's already about how much? $24,000 you just saved by taking money out of this pocket. Because when you are hiring a child,
Out of
you
this
create
pocket.
something called
Put it
Yes,
to
I'm
the other
putting it in
pocket.
this
Into
other
the
pocket.
other pocket.
Yes,
Still,
because you
same
create a
person.
bank account for the child. It's called a custodian bank account. It is you managing the bank account. So you're taking money out of this pocket and
And
putting
put it
this
to the
one.
other pocket. Or put it into the
Yes,
chest
and then,
pocket.
and then that money becomes tax deductible for you, and here it is tax free.
That is a big
Then the
one.
third
That's a
thing
big
you
one.
do with that thing, which is even far more important, you hire a child who is the age of 7, because the labor code, the tax courts have upheld the age of 7 as the normal age to hire a child.
That's
So you
crazy,
hire
isn't
a
it?
child who is the
Never
age of
thought about it.
7.
Yeah.
You take that money, because that money is called after tax money. It's already, so whenever you take that money, you create a custodial Roth IRA account for that
Mhm.
child.
Mhm.
You take of that money, you remove $6,000 and put it in there as Roth IRA for that child. Don't do anything to that Roth IRA. Don't do any of the crazier things I can talk about. Don't do
Mhm.
anything. Leave that money there until the child gets to retirement and wants to go and look at that money. It's over $1 million
That's crazy.
and it's tax free. All
That's
your own
crazy.
money that you've been putting in retirement is tax deductible. It's taxable. But
It's
that one you
taxable.
put for that child is tax free.
That's
So if you
crazy.
put it every year for that child, for the
You're making
5 years, you are not doing anything different. You just created a crazy generational wealth for that kid that is tax free. Crazy.
and that kid bears your name. That means
You just create
you're perpetuating your existence in this society, the ability
don't
to
madness.
do greater things than you as a first generation immigrant could ever do. That is
Absolutely.
powerful. That is
And then
powerful.
what they have done, you see Rockefellers, they take that money, they put some sort of life insurance against that money and wage that money in a way that that money will never deplete. The children use that as, it will never disappear. So from generation to infinity, that money is going to be there. So the child wants to retire. There are 10 million or 5 million, or how many million? You didn't do anything different, but you leave that child $10 million. How many of
Just
us
put
made 5,000 dollars left by our parents?
ouch,
Nothing.
ouch, ouch, ouch,
That's
ouch,
tax
ouch,
strategy number one.
ouch, ouch. That is wild. That is already making my head. It's making. I can feel some smoke oozing out of my ears and my nostrils. That is powerful stuff right there. And for all the viewers who are watching, you had better know about Mr. Charles Njoya, the tax strategist. Tell us, when did you start
We just
CHN
did one. We just talk
Advisors?
about one. We
Let,
just did
let's.
one
I want us to cool it down a little bit, and we're getting to the top of the hour. I know it could go very crazy. We have just 9 more minutes to go. But when did you start or found CHN Advisors? When and where?
Okay. When I came here, I was working for PwC. After some years, I left PwC and um, I went to a smaller firm. And my idea was, I'm going to that firm to do what we did at PwC, helping these companies do structured things and things like that. But you go to a smaller firm where we deal with most of the day-to-day people, and you realize that all the smaller firms do is prepare taxes. And I was like, what is this? And I was also, they do some audits and then they just prepare taxes. The tax season, they get crazy and then that's it. I was like, this is not what I was trained for. I can't do this. So generally, I thought my game was about how do I help people structure estates and build their own wealth by
Mm.
using the taxes that they are giving to Uncle Sam. That's how I had to move away from a smaller firm and I created my own firm, which was a strategy firm. Yes.
Amazing, amazing. When did you
And
create CHN?
with
Yeah.
the goal of educating the immigrant community.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because I believe that we immigrants will work harder than anybody in the United States. I believe it may be wrong, but that's my belief. And if you look at stats, they will confirm that. We work so many hours. We put 20 hours a day. You see somebody coming in the morning, he's driving a car, he can fall. You look, it's mostly immigrants. We're struggling and working so hard,
Mhm.
but we don't know how the system works. We need more strategies to educate the masses.
Mhm,
The
mhm,
wealthy top 1% are already doing this.
mhm.
Why is there no system? There's no school that's going to teach you what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
No school. So
Hmm.
somehow I said, we have to educate ourselves on how this system works so that we too can take advantage of the American system and take advantage of the American dream. Because if we know how the system works, we are all going to be part of the top 1%.
Okay, that one I think is a Vuvuzela moment again. Not just work hard, but work hard and move upstream to the point where you become part of the one percenters that run the system or own the system. Because after all, you're already working so hard. When you work so hard, and yet you have works in your ears, stuff in your nostrils that you don't listen, you don't learn.
Yes.
That is really powerful. So CHN was designed to educate.
Yes.
And who are some of the people that are coming through the door for you to educate? I am saying that because maybe you set it up thinking, oh my God, I'm going to help the immigrant population that comes in here. They're the most educated community. And yet maybe you end up serving maybe those that don't even need this information so much. Is there any disconnect there, or are you
We
really?
see that a lot. A lot of people are coming to our through our doors who are
Yes.
already people in this community because they already know the power of
You're in front of
strategy,
that.
but they don't have access to strategies because strategies are
And
few.
those that you were
So,
looking to
yes,
serve, those that you were looking
yes,
to serve,
it
they're a
is
little bit
hard to
skeptical. They're
educate
like,
our
I don't know
community.
if this is
Yes, it is hard
how
to educate in our own communities
how
because
painful
we
is
don't
that?
trust our people as
How
well.
painful is that, sir?
Yes, we
We
don't
come from
trust.
systems that are dysfunctional. We come from systems that
Yes,
are broken. There are issues with trust. So,
yes.
what is CHN Advisors doing to be able to
CHN
continue
advisors.
to reach these people that need this information and yet they're pretending like they don't need it?
If you go to my website, you go to my YouTube handle, you go to my Facebook handle, you go to our Instagram handle, you will see a lot of free information that we're pushing out every day.
Please
And I tell people
say the name of your website. We want people to
chnadvisors.com. And then you just go, even you go to Facebook and
chnadvisors.com.
just follow Charles and Joya, you
Mhm.
will see a lot of material that are being pushed every day about how the system works. We do conferences. We go out there and educate people on these things. We talk in our communities because we want to make our people understand how the system works. We do a lot of things in that domain. And that's the only thing we can do. And if you come to my platform, if you see this thing and you're a guy who is going to pay another $100,000 to Uncle Sam in 2024, all you need to do is to go to my website, chnadvisors.com, and click for a free discovery call. You have an hour free call with me. Free call with me.
Just listen
And
and
then
just
we get to
absorb.
talk about your situation. And
Yes.
then again, it's a free call. What are you losing? What are you
What
missing?
does it cost?
Go and book the call. If you are the guy who is paying 50, $100,000 or $200,000 or anything, all these amounts in taxes, go and book a free discovery call with Charles. And we are going to spend an hour talking about you and how we can do for you, what we can do for you to save you on taxes in 2024. And if you've already paid, it doesn't matter whether you're a W-2 or you are a business owner, as long as you're paying high amounts of taxes, we are going to save that money for you. And again, it's a win-win-win. That's where your wealth is. Your wealth is in the taxes you give to Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam doesn't need it.
Thank you so much. Now we got just 2 minutes to go, and I know you have to head back to office and continue with helping some of the people that are in need, but they don't even realize that they're in desperate need. And I think that is a terrible situation because usually when people are sick, they know that they're sick. But when it comes to financial awareness, they're sick. They don't even realize that they're sick. But I'll leave that for another day. I'll leave that a conversation for another day. Now, Mr. Njoya, what are some of the powerful books that everyday people can read to be 1/4 or 1 inch as smart as you? What do you recommend? It could be in financial, could be non-financial. What is one good book or two that you want to share with people who are curious, who want to improve their families in America?
I will tell you, there are so many of us who are already reading a lot of good books out there. But what I want to tell you is how you want to learn from people who are going to tell you how to structure your estate. Yeah, there's so many books that are motivational. They will tell you all sorts of great things, which are great, great books. But I'll show you a couple of books that I read. Just give me a second. Let me show you some of them.
Sure. And if you are watching for the first
Yes.
time, you're not
Yes.
yet subscribed to the Story Warrior channel, now is a good time to subscribe because you continue to get good content from experts like Mr. Charles Njoya, who has been all around the world and is serving our people right here
Look,
in the United States
yeah,
of
look at
America.
this book.
Yes. What is
This
the
book
title?
is called the Self-Directed IRA Handbook.
Self-directed. Okay.
You will struggle, some people would struggle to understand this book. It's written by a guy called Matt Sorensen.
Mhm.
Matt Sorensen. Let me
Mhm.
tell you, most of us come to this country and we retire on what we call how do you call it? We retire on 401k. We have
Yeah, yeah.
all our money sitting in 401k.
Mhm. The
You see somebody
self-directed.
retired with
Yeah.
600,000,
Mhm.
$1 million sitting in the IRA, and that's what he's going to retire with.
Mhm.
There is something called self-directing your retirement money.
Mhm.
If you have $100,000 in retirement,
Mhm.
you can basically serve, the tax code allows you to self-direct that money in retirement.
Mhm.
Self-directing means that you are taking it away from the traditional wealth building system, which is stocks, mutual funds, and ETFs, where it's going to
Mhm.
remain, and then you can invest it in other assets,
Mhm.
leveraging other people's money. So if you
Mhm.
have $100,000 in your retirement account,
Mhm.
you can basically self-direct it and
Mhm.
then invest it in real estate. That $100,000 becomes $1 million by leveraging other
Mhm.
people's money.
Mhm.
So you're taking 100,000 and then you're borrowing from the community and then buying assets. So it's now
Fantastic.
growing, instead of growing on the $100,000 that was sitting there, it's now growing on $1 million.
There you go. There you
You
go.
just
That is.
multiply your growth by 10.
Thank you. I am
And if you
so.
do that, you will retire, instead of retiring on that $500,000 or $1 million, you retire on $10 million.
I am so glad I asked that question. So, is there a
Yes.
second book, or should we move to the next one?
Yes.
That is
There is this
powerful.
other book. There's this other book. What
Yes.
your CPA isn't telling you.
Oh my God.
What your
What your-
CPA is not telling you.
Oh my
This
goodness.
is written by somebody that I trust, and I
Mhm.
am a member of the group. It's called Mark J. Collar. Mark
Mhm.
Collar.
Okay.
What your CPA isn't telling you is everything I just told you. Your CPA doesn't know it.
Oh my God.
How to
Oh my
structure your
God.
estate, how to
Oh
take
my
advantage of
God.
your dream, how this country works.
Okay.
Those are the
Okay.
books. I have quite a few of them in here that I could talk about. These are books that I look at. All these books, we can talk about all these books, but this is another one. So I
We're
will
gonna
tell
have
you
another
more.
session. I promise you, we'll have another session because I don't want to abuse your time. Now,
Please.
Mr. Joya, you still have business in Cameroon. You mentor some young people in Cameroon. You mentor some
Yes.
in America.
Yes.
Who inspires you? Because you inspire a lot of people. So, but who inspires you these days?
Oh, great question. I have a lot of people that inspire me. Some of these people are very ordinary people,
Mhm.
very
Mhm.
ordinary people that inspire me.
Mm.
They inspire me a lot. Some of these people, I'll call their names, you will not even know about them. But
That's okay.
when I look in this area, in this thing that we're doing,
Mhm.
I mean, I will call some names that you probably feel like
No,
this,
no, no,
this
no.
is.
It's
There's
all
a
good.
guy.
It's in the interest of
I
some
always
other.
like to listen to people who have something. There are people that there's
Absolutely.
a guy called Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes.
Robert
I
Kiyosaki.
know. I know about Kiyosaki.
Robert Kiyosaki, when you read his books, I read his book when I was still a kid.
Mhm.
When I was still a kid, I read that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
For that, very simple.
And up to today, I still read that book. Most people read that book, they don't understand. He's talking about the tax system in the United States. That's it.
Mm.
Rich Dad doesn't understand nothing. He has a PhD, he's the scholar, he's the guy who has all the education. He
But
goes to
doesn't
work and
understand.
he's retiring on his 401k and all or not. The
Yes.
poor dad doesn't know nothing, but he knows how the system works.
Yes.
That's the rich dad. No, the rich dad is that dad who doesn't do nothing. The
Yes.
poor dad is the one who has gone to school. He has all the education,
But
and
doesn't know how to make
he's
this.
working the system. And the rich dad is that one who didn't go to school. But
Ah,
he understood how the system works.
what a
I mean, he
paradox.
understands the tax system. He
What a
understands it.
paradox.
He
What a
understands the power of
paradox.
money. The power of money. Most
What?
of us are poor dads. We gone to the best schools and then we're draining our money through the system. Most of us.
Ouch. Draining it down the drain. Putting it down the
Yes.
drain.
We are
Okay.
working for a system, working 24 hours a day, working crazily. I see a lot of physicians who are making a lot of money and they're just paying it to taxes. I see a
Mm.
lot of, I mean, there's so many people in our community who are just working for the system.
And
They are
throwing it
poor
away.
dad. It's called poor
Ouch.
dad. They don't build
Ouch.
assets. Their only money they are wasting for retirement is what you call the 401k. And I just showed you the power of 401k. What you can do with that 401k if you
Ouch.
understood what
Ouch.
Rich Dad was talking about.
Ouch. 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 Okay. I want to end with this. It's not a trick question. It's just something for us to probably chuckle over next time when we meet. You walk into a room. There are four chairs. The first chair is in a triangle. It's standing within a triangle. The second chair is standing within a square.
Mhm.
The third chair is standing within a circle. And the fourth chair is standing within a squiggly, it's twisted up. Which of those chairs would you be more inclined to sit on? Is it the one in the triangle, the square, the circle, or the squiggly?
I don't know how to answer that question, but if I saw a question that a chair that's seated in all those, I will rush and sit in the one in the circle. Maybe it's the wrong answer, but I will sit in the circle.
Okay, okay. I think I now understand why you're passionate about educating, because those that sit in the circle are those that like harmony. You like harmony within your community. You're a successful man, but you're not just about yourself. You're going to extra lengths to educate people in the community, and you're so passionate about this topic more than anyone else I've ever met. When it comes to this topic, it's like you could go on and on. And that speaks a lot about how much you want to be able to share that knowledge from the heart with many others. So the last one, you walk into a room, there's food on the table.
Let me look at my
There's
calendar, sir. Just give me
there's
a
food on the
second.
table. No, I need
Yes,
just 30 seconds. There's food on the table.
yes,
First one
yes.
is achu. The second one is fufukon. The third one is bongo chabi. The fourth one
Hey,
is water
Jesus.
fufu and ero. Which one of them would you grab and say, I'm gonna chew some of
Jesus.
this?
Uh, hey, Jesus. I'm going to take I'm going to take a carry away bag and then make sure that each of those dishes are in that carry away so that I can
Take
eat
time.
all of it.
Later in the evening, you can eat a lot
I'll
of that.
take away
Okay,
a little
okay,
bit of
okay,
everything.
okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't want to abuse your time. I appreciate what you're doing in our community. I appreciate what you're doing in your spiritual life, in your family life. And thank you so much, Mr. Joya. May God bless you as you keep serving the community. Have a great day,
Thank
sir.
I
Peace.
appreciate it. Thank you
Mhm.
so much. Talk to you
Okay.
later. Talk to
Yes,
you.
sir.
Bye bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.